Welcome. This is episode 20 of Business Can Be Better.
We should know how to do it by now.
We're getting amazing at this. This
Yes,
was just
except for that fuzzy
weird
sound.
thing that wasn't plugged in as far as it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all. Episode number 20, we're going to talk about having an exit strategy.
Actually, this
in
is an
your business.
intervention.
Okay.
Ow! Did you ever crack?
Ooh.
Get that
Oh,
crack
yeah.
and then every time you laugh, it really hurts.
Yeah.
Don't be funny today.
Okay. No
Okay.
laughing.
Catch up. What's new?
What's new with Kelly Ray?
Well, Christmas is coming,
Mm-hmm.
and I have all my presents bought and wrapped.
Wow.
Except for 2 gift cards, which my husband has to go get. And also, I'm going to start coloring, like in a coloring book. Yeah, because,
What brought this about?
well, whenever I hang out with my nieces and my nephew, I'm always like, let's color. It'll be so much fun. And then I called my mom the other day, and I'm like, which one of them likes this kind of coloring book and that one? And she's like, you like all the coloring books the most. And I was like, oh, I do.
It wasn't the kids
So
that wanted to color?
No, it's always
okay.
me. So I bought myself a Christmas coloring book, and I got it out last night with my crayons. I just didn't have time, so I'm going to start tonight. So I think it'll really decrease my stress.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a color by number, which I like.
Oh, okay.
Order
You don't even have to
follow.
choose where to
No
put
creativity.
the colors. It's just like,
One
put this color
red.
here. Okay.
2 green. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make you a picture
We could
for
make
you and
it.
Joss for your fridge.
We could make it the cover image for this episode.
Yeah.
Gotta get
What
coloring.
does it have to do with exit strategy, though?
Depends what your coloring book has pictures of.
Christmas stuff.
Okay.
We'll think about it. We'll see. What about
Okay.
you? What's new with you?
We just announced, or Social West just announced their first round of speakers, which is going to include me. So they announced their first 10 people that will be speaking at Social West in June of 2020, which is Canada's largest digital marketing
Can
conference.
I high five you? Is that
Yeah.
totally nerdy? Awesome.
So we're going to be speaking at that in June.
We?
Me and the other 9 people that were
Oh, awesome.
announced today.
Is
Their
Gary
first
Vee
round of
coming?
speakers. No, it's not quite that big, I don't think, unless there's new announcements that I don't know
Ooh,
about.
maybe he'll be the
But usually
surprise
the
speaker.
first one, like they always announce the biggest first, right? Like I announce a conference and it was like, here's the people that you should be excited about, and then later they kind of drip out the filler spots, don't they? Isn't that how it works?
I didn't think so. I don't know.
I feel like when you
You're always
organize
hurting
an
people's
event,
feelings on this show.
no, we're not. This is
I'm
reality
not.
of the speaker circuit.
Okay.
Um,
Now you're on the speaker circuit?
no,
Can
no.
you bring me onto it?
No, I'm not on the
Not for
speaker
online
circuit.
marketing, but
So we're going to be doing that in June, and I'm very excited
that's awesome. Good
that
for
they
you.
invited me on to do that.
Where?
It's in Calgary,
That's
so it's
very
not very
cool.
far.
Maybe I'll come.
But yeah, they have several hundred people there usually. So
Where is it at?
it's at the whatever their movie theater's called. That's in the
Downtown? Oh, I used to work
Eau
downtown.
Claire.
Yeah,
at the
Eau Claire Market?
Market at the
Oh,
theater
we
in
saw Joe
there.
Rogan there once.
So
He's
they
funny.
have like 3 different theaters going, and you choose which session you want to go to every hour. And I'm going to be speaking about organic social media and how organic reach is dead is a myth.
Cool.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, organic reach is dead just if you're not doing it right.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of like all things are dead if you don't do them right. Pretty sure.
Let's move on.
Okay. So we're talking about having an exit strategy.
Yes,
Or
yes.
determining what yours is, or
Well,
how to
what's
have
the
a good
topic?
one.
Do you have an exit strategy? I think I saw what's your
You had.
exit strategy?
You said, "What's your exit strategy?"
Well, did I or did Laura?
Well, I think you text me.
Well, I've been preparing for exit strategy. Okay. So do you want to start?
Do I want to start? Okay, sure.
Let's start with your text.
My text. What did I text?
But I've never exited.
Oh, I was like, yeah, that sounds good, but I've never exited.
That's
It
okay.
probably actually corrected to excited
It didn't.
first, and then but then I had to change it. I'm like, oh no, that's not the word, exited. But then you still read it as excited anyways, and you're like, what do you mean?
He's never gonna.
Early
listen to
when I
this.
started London Road Media, I went and made a appointment or asked if I could speak with a business broker that you would know in town to see.
Before you started your business.
No, very early when I started
Oh
my
my,
business,
good
not
for
before.
you.
No, but just like early in starting my business, because I had the idea that I probably wouldn't stick with one business for the rest of my life. And so I wanted to know how to build a business that is sellable.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I already knew what the business was. 'Cause I already started. I'm already doing marketing. I know what it is, but how do I make this business sellable? So we had a bit of a conversation about what that means.
What
And
did they say?
that Well, so with a service company, it's really tough, right? Like we don't have assets to speak of, really. There's nothing there to sell as far as physical assets. It's a skill set that we sell, and so it's a service that we sell, and so it's a bit.
I am going to debate that point.
Okay, so it's a bit trickier, I think, our kind of business to sell because it's really just based on the talent of the people. So as long as you can find talent, you could replicate what we have fairly easily, but what can make it sellable is brand. That's what can make it something that has its own worth outside of the product or service we create, is that we have a brand that someone might pay something for.
And I thought I was finally going to disagree with you on something, but that's what I was tending towards as an online asset. If you have like a lot of Google reviews, you have really good SEO, you have a lot of online brand built up, you can sell your company based on those assets, not necessarily tangible assets.
Yeah, so I knew early on that we needed to build a business that had a strong brand. Like it's not just a great service and we have great people and great talent and all that. We had to have a brand that people recognize, that people would think of when they think of excellence in the field, and that became important to me. And also to make a brand that's not completely tied to me, and that's something we're continuing to work on because it's still fairly heavily based around my personal brand. But that makes it tough to sell, is if the brand is connected to me and it can't really exist without me.
Yeah.
So that was something that we learned early on and that we continue to work towards, but I'm also not in a hurry. I mean, we've only been at it 3.5 years, so it's not like I had a 10-year exit plan or 5-year exit plan and I need to make progress. It's just like this slow, gradual, make sure we're kind of doing things in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think that's the general school of thought with most business owners. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I don't think people think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fence and deck company that we had a few years ago, we sold that only based on intangible assets. So the world is changing. Like back in the day, it'd be like, well, you could sell your inventory for whatever it's worth. You can sell some goodwill, the amount of customers that'll probably stick with you, the business you'll probably get. But that fence and deck company, we only had it for a few years. So it was really new. Didn't have many assets. Wasn't super profitable. It was only a couple years old. But we had a lot of Google reviews, and we named it the words that people searched.
Right.
So we convinced the buyers that they would never have to pay for marketing again.
Right.
Which that was what we sold. So we actually did not sell any shares in the corporation. We just sold our online assets, our website, our Google listing, etc. And now we still have that corporation as a holdco.
Okay.
So that's a really cool thing that nowadays, especially with a business like yours, because you guys are whizzes at it, if you can build up your brand, as you called it, or your online. For me, I think it was the fact that they'd never have to pay for advertising again. That's what I wanted. And we were able to show them, like, here's how many leads come in a month. Here's how many usually convert. Therefore, here's how much sales you'll probably do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's obviously big differences between having a packaged, successful, profitable company that someone can buy, and they're basically buying an income, like a profit stream, a revenue stream, or there's kind of like project companies that people buy, right? It's kind of the difference between, do you buy the amazing show home, or do you buy the thing that needs the renovations and it needs some work, right? Because I mean, if you're selling something that people can walk into, no advertising needed, we have processes, we have profits, we have this many clients, we have this many conversions, all of that. I mean, that's the,
you're gonna pay a lot for that,
turnkey, ready to go.
It's got to be a long distance plan,
right? Yeah. But there's also people who are needing to sell because of retirement or sickness, or just sick of doing what they're doing, or whatever the reason is, that they might be selling something that's not. It's a project company.
That is such a different way of looking at it. So I get it. It's just, I think that the way that I think about it, I guess what thought that brought up for me was, we were actually in a little bit of a desperate position when we sold that company, because I was really sick and we didn't know what it was. Like, it turned out to be kidney stones, but first thought it was like cancer. Like, it was horrible. And Tim, he was working full-time at the city as a foreman. He was running the fence and deck company, and then TMH Business Coaching was on too with employees, and he's just like, I can't do this. So I think it only took us like 10 days to sell it, to get rid of it. So obviously, if you're impatient, or if you're desperate, or if you're in need to get out, if you're not planning this, you're not going to get what you want out of it.
Right.
You can't.
So that's the idea, is if you are in a position where you kind of need to, that you're not selling the project company, you have a company that can change hands fairly successfully, and because of that you can demand a bit of a better price for it. You're not liquidating the company you own. You actually have something that people want to buy at a good price.
Yeah, I guess I kind of wrote down like basically the 10 ways I thought you could get out of a business. But I think it's just important, even if today or next week or next month you still don't think it's important for you to have an exit strategy, I still think that you'll be better off listening to this podcast, because everything we're going to talk about, it doesn't matter if you're going to sell or if you're going to keep it. It's the same homework.
Right.
You know, work on your business, not in it. Have a financial plan, have a solid sales and marketing procedures, etc. So
the things that make it a great sellable company are what are going to just make it a great company that you continue to own.
So is it systemized? Can it run without you? Is it profitable? All that stuff. If the answer is all yes, great. You could probably sell it for quite a bit. But if the answer is all yes, great. It's probably making you some money, so you should hold on to it. A really smart man that I know who has lots of experience with buying and selling businesses said, at first I thought it was a joke, but he's very serious. He never jokes.
Okay.
So you can imagine I was very confused. I said, what is this company worth? Like, what could I expect to get for this? And he said, whatever the buyer is willing to pay.
Right.
And I kind of laughed because I'm like, oh, haha, yeah, right. How much is it worth? He's like, no, really. That is, it's the perceived value. Like, whatever it's worth to the buyer, that whatever they will pay you, that's what it's worth.
Right.
And I've almost bought some businesses before, and I just recently bought half a business, and it can be very touchy because, a lot of the businesses I looked at before I finally found this last one that I wanted in on, they weren't in good places. Right. And they were like, just buy my inventory and get me out of here. And the thing with that is, I looked at a couple really close, and I didn't want to get anywhere near them. Like, there's a reason these people are selling just for inventory. Like, they've created a bad name for themselves. Like, sometimes there's some good deals to be had out there. Like, you can acquire other businesses for very cheap. Just make sure you do your homework, because there's a reason that they're just trying to get out of there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, if somebody's got cancer or something and they have no money to leave their family, so they want to sell their business to have money for their family, gosh, I hope the seller has a little more compassion in that case. But if you're just looking to go around and snap up cheap businesses, they're out there.
Oh, yeah.
People are failing. They want to get out. They just want to sell their inventory. So, buy a fixer-upper house. Yeah. If you know how to fix a business.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Which is, if you don't, then often I think people turn to more of a franchise model. Because it's buying a business that has systems, has profitability, that has brand, that has everything built in. And so basically all you need to do is manage it. Like, they should be providing you with all the tools you need for success.
They should. And most franchises nowadays, I find, are a very bad idea. They overinflate their projections. They over promise on the support that they'll give you, on the marketing that and there's only probably 2 real franchises I've seen in the last 5 years that I thought, man, they're doing a great job supporting their franchisees. But franchising is one way.
That's all. I've always found that with franchises, that I don't understand why a franchisee would come to us as a marketing company and seek a contract with us. I'm like, you're paying a franchise fee. Like, aren't they supposed to be supporting you with your marketing? Why are you as a franchisee also going out and finding a marketing agency?
That's very common.
Which I think is a franchise not giving the help that they should be to their franchisees.
Yeah, I actually almost wanted to call this topic "Why Franchises Suck," or think twice if you're thinking about buying a franchise. But then I'm like, let's keep it more positive. Okay, so why do we need an exit strategy?
Yeah, why? Because I feel like for a long time I was like, no, I don't want to be the startup entrepreneur that's just like, I'm going to start a company and I'm going to exit in 5 years and make $500,000. Like, why do I need an exit strategy? Convince me.
No, I thought you were going to tell me.
No, okay. We're both sitting here being like, no, we don't need one.
I'm just kidding. Well, you need one to make it worth your time, I guess. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're just going to try and live till you're 120 and never sell it, then okay, someone will inherit it when you pass away. But, like, you have to exit. Because you die.
At some point, yeah.
All people die, so all people have to exit.
Hopefully I have a bit of time to figure that out.
You don't have a choice.
Okay.
So you have to exit. It's not a do I want an exit strategy or not? It's just a when, and what, right? So I really think that before you even start talking to a business broker, talking to an accountant for valuation, really get in your mind what you want out of the sale if you're going to sell.
Okay.
Because people who have built a business up for a long time have so much emotional attachment to that, they can think that it's worth like $1 million. But some of those same businesses I looked at and I thought they were worth $10,000.
Yeah.
And it's just soul crushing to try and have a conversation with somebody who thinks that when you're looking at the numbers and yeah. So
so when we build an exit strategy, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean an exit timeline.
it doesn't have to.
Okay.
I think it should.
Okay.
It should, yeah.
Okay.
But that's the other thing too. Don't do it too fast because that's so much pressure. Like
Right.
if you're like, 2 years from now, I want to be making $500,000 on the bottom line so I can sell it for 1.5 million. Da da da. Like, okay, but are you gonna enjoy your life on the way there,
Right.
or yeah? And what you want to do, because you can either sell the assets like we talked about, you can sell the shares of the actual corporation. And remember that its worth is what the buyer thinks it's worth. So
Yeah.
the buyer might have skills that you don't have, or the buyer might have connections that you don't have. So they may see more worth in it. The other thing I wrote down is ask yourself why you're doing it. Because if you're
Why
just
you're
like,
selling?
yes,
Okay.
or why you're coming up with an exit strategy.
Okay.
Because I know in our case, it was like overwhelmed, sick, tired, can't deal with 3 companies at once. That was not a good position to bargain from.
Right.
So figure out why you want an exit strategy, like what the why is behind yours. And
Okay.
for a lot of entrepreneurs, I think it's because they get bored.
Yeah.
Most entrepreneurs I know have at least 3 companies.
But if we continue with the house analogy, I mean, there's people who buy a house because it's their dream house and it's their forever house. Not everyone's in the house market to flip houses.
It's very true.
So can I not start a business and just be like, this is my forever business. I just want
Sure.
to run it forever.
Until you die.
So
Then
do we
what's the
need an
exit
exit? Do we
strategy?
need an exit timeline and an exit strategy and a plan for this is what we need to achieve by these times so that it's worth this much and this? Like that's where I don't.
I still would.
Would you? Because I don't have
Actually,
an
I don't
exit
know.
strategy.
I don't know because I don't think like that.
I want to make my business, profitable and be able to
Systemized.
operate without me and
Yeah.
all of those things because it's just going to make it a good business, not necessarily
Right.
for the reason that it would be a great exit plan. But the side benefit it will be that if I ever do get bored or want out, that it should be easier to sell. But that's kind of just a side benefit of just running a good business.
Yes. And if you don't have an exit strategy, or it could be worded differently, if you're not working on your business, doing the things that we talk about every week, you don't have freedom to choose.
Right. Yeah.
Like
that's
if,
true. Yeah.
If your business depends solely on you, it's not repeatable, systemized. Like my business right now, I'm like, I think Tony Robbins called me a dancing bear. He's
Okay.
like, you're the dancing bear. You have to dance or no money comes into the company.
Okay.
That's why we're working on the online courses,
Right.
right? But that's also why I have other companies, not just that one. And what's that book called that I told you about? Built to Sell.
Built to Sell,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you guys want a good book about, if you like parables, there's a book called Built to Sell by John Warlow. It's pretty good. It kind of reminds me of the E-Myths.
Okay.
But to give yourself freedom, to give yourself options, to give yourself, because what if you get critically injured, or what if you get paralyzed, or what if you pass away? Then we should start talking about your will, because
Yeah,
even
but
that, what happens to your company then, right? Does Jocelyn then run your company?
like in those situations, I would think that it shouldn't be a challenge to still own it. It's just that you need someone else to play your role, whatever that was, whether it was manager or CEO or whatever your
Yes.
role is. But that, like, selling it doesn't have to be the solution to that, as long as
Right.
somehow it can run without you. But that's just
That's the other option.
running good business. It's not about making it sellable.
That's the other option, though. You keep it forever, and it's an asset that produces profit for you
Yeah.
year after year, and you have a manager running it. So it's like a cash cow.
Yeah.
The other thing, like with a business like my coaching and consulting, where there's no way around it, I'm the main source of income.
Right.
They talk about doing like a dividend strategy. So taking out your maximum amount of appropriate dividends and putting them into a retirement savings plan. So
Okay.
if this was the only business that I ever had, I should be doing that.
Right, because
Like if you're in business
yeah.
for yourself and you are the only asset,
Mhm.
you need to be pulling money out of that business and putting it in your
'Cause
RSPs.
otherwise, the day you retire, there's no business left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the more we proceduralize, is that a word?
Sure.
I think it is.
All words are words.
I'm pretty sure that's a word.
As long as people understand them, they're words.
Okay, so we have a ton of procedures, a ton of systems. We even have most of our procedures on video, thanks to you.
Mhm.
We have online courses. We could drop, we have a curriculum. So
Okay.
we could sell my business, but I feel like
It wouldn't
it's
be
me.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All my clients and myself have
Sure.
a relationship. So that's
Mhm.
that makes it quite hard, but you still can turn those businesses into
Yeah.
a real asset for you, but it's a lot harder.
I think my biggest concern when I was asking about how to make my business sellable was making sure that goodwill would be there, that it's not people's relationships with me,
Yeah.
and that when I want to get rid of it, you don't lose every dollar of revenue it currently makes because the clients are like, well, I'm working with Lane and he's not there anymore. So
Yeah.
that I think we've gone a long ways in achieving that I
I do too.
have relationships with my account managers and different staff with our clients, and it's not just me nearly as much as it was, though it still is pretty strongly. I think we've come a long ways in that, where if whatever happened and I had to be removed or I decided to quit, I think there'd still be a pretty good amount of goodwill that our clients have a relationship with London Road Media, not just myself.
I think so too. I think you've done really well at that. Yeah, I do. Now, if you were my coaching client and you're paying me those nice fees,
Mm-hmm.
and one day someone else showed up,
Right.
Kelly's not coaching anymore. How happy would you
I
be,
don't
right?
like. I feel like you'd give them a shot. You'd be
I
like,
would.
well, I don't know. Like you decided that's
Well,
the
you have
person to
your
replace
curriculum,
you,
you
so they
have,
must
yeah.
be good, right? You
Well,
didn't
that's good.
hire
Thank
someone
you.
off, whatever,
They have to
Kijiji,
be
because
as passionate as I am, though, because that's
Yeah.
like our number one. No, accountability, that was our number one. Okay, so then the other thing is dividend model. We talked about that. Royalty model. So this couple of these are super ancient, where I might sell you the concept of, let's say, the Lundys. You sell that to someone, and forevermore.
don't tell anyone about that. That's a secret still.
It's on Facebook. Every year when the Lundys are given out,
Okay.
you get a royalty. Or every time they like play your song, you know,
Mhm.
that sort of thing, that model.
I still need to go trademark, do something awesome.
Oh, you should hurry.
I almost bought the URL like 8 months ago, and it was $1,200, and I tweeted
Oh.
about it, and then someone found my old tweet and tweeted back at me like a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, you should have got it while you could have. It's like 4,000 now.
Oh no!
But
that's
again,
funny.
it's worth what someone's willing to pay for it,
Yes,
so it doesn't matter
exactly.
what price someone's listed online.
So then the other thing is you can be bought out by your
Mhm.
partner or other shareholders, which I think is probably the most common thing I see nowadays, like where fathers passing down to sons and that sort of thing. Well, that was super sexist. Husbands and wives.
You said that's
passing
what's
down
common.
To
I
their
mean,
children.
it can be a fact that it's
Actually,
common.
women-owned businesses are like up to 44% in Canada or something now.
Fantastic.
Acquisition by another company. So like
Yeah.
your company could buy up some smaller online marketing companies,
Mhm.
and therefore that person
Or
would get
complementary
acquired.
companies.
Yeah.
Like-
Did you think that was like a really good idea? Did your voice just
I was
change
just
so
like,
much? I'm
"Ooh."
like, is there like a follow-up sentence?
Like,
Uh,
I don't know.
also-
Something that's not online marketing, something else, like print media or whatever. Complementary companies.
Sure, or newspaper.
New verticals.
How about
Yeah, let's
TV
buy
while we're at it?
buy a newspaper. Very lucrative.
Oh, this used to be popular in the movies, but in Southern Alberta small business, I don't see a lot of IPOs.
No,
No,
I don't see a lot of that
but that's a possibility. You can go public.
on the
And then
Calgary Stock Exchange.
And then we already talked about this. Systemize it, hire someone to run it, and keep it as a cash cow.
Yeah.
But sounds nice. But when you have somebody who's a manager, at the end of the day, no matter how dependable they are, if something happens to them, it's still, the end of the day, you own it. It's your responsibility.
Yeah.
You get sued. You get called at 3 a.m. You get, all the things. So
I had to really, really consider this like a year and a half ago, maybe.
you
when
got sued. We probably shouldn't
No,
talk about that on
we're
here.
talking about trying to own a business and letting someone else manage it, because
Oh,
I was offered a salary position that would have meant us moving to an amazing part of the world and make a very good income for a very elite brand, and it'd be a good resume builder and career path thing to do. And I was trying to decide, could I own London Road Media and have a salaried job and then hire someone to basically be the me in my company and be able to stay at arm's length and maybe take quarterly reports or even monthly, but not go beyond that.
Time, no way.
But I'm just like, actually, that wasn't the biggest reason why I didn't do it. It's just that would have been hard. No, not at all.
I'm just joking.
It would have been that part would have been tough, but mostly it was just that I thought there was way more opportunity in us continuing to grow what we were doing rather than taking this other position. But
good call.
It was something that I thought a lot about. Could I own my company and hire a me to take my role and still just own it? And if I have to think of that again in the future, that's a tough thing to ponder when it's reality, when it's not just hypothetical. When it's a reality and you're thinking about how you would find that person, that's a tough question to figure out.
Honestly, I love that I can say this now, but with our curriculum, our online courses, and all of our procedures and our job descriptions, I do think I could replace myself.
Good.
I've never been able to say that before.
Good for you.
This is a good moment for me. Oh, but I think you're way further ahead than I am. Like, if you had that same opportunity now, like for me, I was trying to think, okay, how would I feel if Lindsay or somebody else from your team came over and filmed our next online course and talked me through it and did whatever? I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
I would be great with it, actually.
It'd be better, actually, that you weren't there.
Don't you remember the leg incident? I had the giggles. I couldn't stop giggling. Neil Barry attributed to this as well. And then Neil and Lane were trying to hide around the corner so that I could stop having the giggles so I could film the next course. But Lane's hairy leg was sticking out from around the corner, and it's all I could see. And I was like, ah! So, when are we filming the next one? Maybe I could just have Lindsay.
Yeah, I think we got to make
I'll need to do
Lindsay's
that.
in Mexico. She got there this morning.
Come home, Lindsay.
I know. I think that too, but she's only been gone half a day, so.
Which part?
I'm not Cancun, I think. Not certain, but.
That's all I have to say.
I haven't had a Mexico trip yet, so.
Ever?
No.
Oh.
So somehow either I'm paying my employees too much or not enough to myself. Why are they getting their Mexico trips and I'm here? I don't know.
Well, you could go. You could go.
Yeah.
But you'll have to do our podcast remotely.
Yeah, let's do it. Call in. What I have to add.
Mexican Wi-Fi, it will not work.
I bet it'll be good.
No.
What I have to add is just that I think that the idea that entrepreneurs just want to start businesses, or that all entrepreneurs would want to start a business with the intent of exiting, is
I don't think people
weird.
do that. Yeah.
There's definitely people like that, and I do. Like, I have had previous businesses, but there was no selling. It was just like I was busy with other things. We're just like, oh, that's enough of this one, and start something else. They were never big enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes me, if I count as a serial entrepreneur, but it was my goal to be a serial entrepreneur, and there's tons of businesses that I would love to start that at some point I'm sure there will be another one or maybe a couple more.
That's the other thing we should probably warn people about. Yes, it can be sort of enticing if you're looking at like a business who desperately wants out, who's willing to sell just for the cost of inventory or some really, affordable price. But ask yourself why they're so willing to get out, and ask yourself, could I just start fresh?
Yeah, exactly.
Could I just start my own company fresh? Why would I go buy that one and fix it up if I could just have my own?
Yeah. And we had a conversation, me and my accountant had this conversation recently with a company that had offered to us that we could buy them or acquire them. And we talked about it, and I kind of got googly eyes, be like, oh, this would be so cool. I could buy my first company. And we got so excited. And then that was one of my accountant's many very good questions was, how much further ahead does this put you than just starting it yourself? And then it's like, well, yeah, I guess you're probably like 2 months ahead of us. If I started from scratch, I could probably get to where they are fairly quickly and not be out what I have to put up and not take on their risk and all of that stuff. So
we should actually talk briefly about valuation too, I think.
Oh man, that's such a
messy,
it's complicated
crazy.
thing.
Yeah, so we'll just touch on it. But I think a lot of people, all 2 of our listeners are probably wondering, no, I know people listen later, but a lot of people are probably wondering, well, what is my business worth anyways?
Yeah, people want to know that.
And so
you're going to pay to find out what that is, because it's not cheap to get an evaluation.
$5,000 to $10,000 to get an official evaluation from a certified evaluationizer.
Expert. I think it's a valuation.
That is not a real word. But an accountant, I think they have to have an accounting degree first, and then they also get this certification.
Yeah.
So those are like 5-10 grand around our area. And then, even then, they're all going to be different.
Yeah.
And so people just, I know for when I was early in my career, I begged one of my mentors, just give me a ballpark. And he was like, no.
There is no ballpark.
Can't. The industry, he's like, it depends on all these things. But somehow, of all the people I asked, I came up with my own ballpark.
Okay.
So, ballpark only, estimate, look at your free cash flows, or an easier way of thinking of this, look at your net profit. For the last 3 years and average it, and then multiply it by 3, 4, or 5, depending on the industry. So probably an average of your last 3 years net profit times 3 would be the lowest I would take. But if you have a lot of inventory, you want to count that in there. If you have a lot of goodwill, and also in some industries like where it's just a much higher profit margin, they might be like, well, take the average of your last 5 years and multiply it by 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's true.
And how volatile the industry is. Like some, some that's
like tech.
You can go beyond 5 and say I want like 10 or 20 multiplier because there's no risk in my business hardly, or your growth rate needs to be considered, or if you're in a business like yours or mine where it's about retention, client retention, you can talk about retention rates. You can talk like there's so many pieces that have to go into figuring out your valuation, and it is 100% just data that you can arm yourself with for when you're in a conversation with the person who has to decide how much they're willing to pay you for it. And so it's not that it's like, here's the number and you need to work with me on getting there. It's like, it's just information that you now have, so that when they come up with reasons why it's this much, you have reasons to say, well, no, it's for these reasons, there's this much more value in it that you maybe haven't considered. And
and that's the thing. Like I said, you have a smart accountant. My accountant is freaking brilliant. Like, love her. And the number she gave me for a company that I was looking at, I was like, I need to shred this now. This is way higher than I want to pay. Like, I was like, what? But explained it very clearly how she had arrived at it. But then on the other side, I have a lot of reading that I've done, research I've done, and other accountants I talked to that adamantly were agreeing with my number. So really, if it's meant to be, you're just gonna have to find that buyer who agrees with your selling price, or at least to the extent that you're willing to bend.
It's so different than anything else that's bought or sold, because there's no market price. It's not like the house, like, okay, what did all the other houses in this block sell for in the last year? It's so different.
I wonder if they do take that into account. I don't know that
for sure. It would just be so different. There's just so many things that it's just about the negotiation, and you as the seller being comfortable with what you'd take out of it, and the buyer being comfortable with how much they put into it, and somehow finding a place to meet in the middle.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing you have to remember too. If you're running a business and you're like, hey, look how profitable it is, I can sell it for so much. If you're not taking a living wage out, they're going to subtract that from your profit.
It has to be.
You can't like fake it. Yeah.
Be like, we made $200,000 last year. How much did you pay you and your business partner? Well, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, so you made $40,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else?
Well, just because it's about buying and selling businesses and investing, I just really enjoy watching Dragon's Den because I love people coming in with their evaluations and saying, here's my brand new business, or it's 2 years old and I have $15,000 in sales, but I think it's worth $2 million.
That's how bad it is. I've never watched it, to be honest.
They're just like, what? Where did this come from?
Mean.
Well, yeah, if you come in there asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars of their money and then telling them you sold them $20,000 in product, I think they're okay to be mean.
I might have to start watching it.
It's like, you delusional little human.
You know what's really funny? I had written down for sum up, you need an exit strategy.
Okay.
But through our conversation, I'm like, maybe you don't.
Maybe don't?
Maybe you just need a goodwill. Because if you don't care to get out of your business, you just want to keep it forever, it's going to keep running, you like it, you want to keep it in your family, as long as your will says that your business goes to your family or whatever.
Okay.
I guess you don't need one.
Yeah. I like, though, what you said about if you have one, or you're building your business at least in a way that you can exit from, that at least it gives you the option, right? Yeah. It's not an option if you don't have it. You're going to be in a point of desperation and you need to get out, and now it's not worth anything because for whatever reason you're too embedded or the systems aren't there, whatever the reason is, you can't exit without the thing falling apart. So
okay, I'm going to change my vote again. You do need an exit strategy.
You're flip-flopping.
And here's why. Because so many people come to me they want to increase their profits. They want to make their business better. They want their employees to be happier. But on and on and on. All of these things, we just want them so that we feel good.
Okay.
And so what makes us feel good? Freedom.
Right.
There are a number of things, right? But freedom to choose. So if you don't have an exit strategy, or if you're not working on your business, you're not making it run without you, you're not making it profitable, you're not doing all the homework that I would give, the working on the business, then you have no freedom. You can't go to Mexico. You work every day.
That's why I'm not in
You're the
Mexico.
one getting called. Yeah, exactly. No, I think you're doing well.
That might be part of it.
But even if you don't want to sell, make an exit strategy just so
Yeah.
you have the opportunity. Because unfortunately, you know, and this always comes up for me when we have to buy life insurance. I hate the conversations. Or like people talk about divorce in this new USA I had to sign with my new partner.
Okay.
What if this happens? And they kept saying, what if they get divorced? What if they get divorced? I'm like, stop saying I'm getting divorced. It's never happening. But the lawyer is sitting there saying, yeah,
You have to plan
never
for
happens till it does.
it. Right.
So,
I think it's
although I'm never getting divorced,
right.
people
That's
could
okay.
get sick, injured, whatever. Just
Yeah.
plan. Just make your business run without you. You can still come if you want, but it's much better and more freeing, and just feels so good to be like, do I want to go in today? Sure. Rather than like, I have to go in to pay my
Right, there's
bills.
no choice,
Or we're
yeah.
going to live on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a healthy way to look at it. That it's best for your business anyways to build it in a way that you can exit.
Okay.
But that it
new
doesn't
answer.
mean that you're building a business to be a business flipper. It doesn't mean you're someone
No.
who's starting up and exiting, and I think there is distaste for that among some people
On this
where
half of the
it's-
table.
hey, this is something I would like to also do at some point. But I think there is some distaste among some people who they don't want to be the type of person who just starts a business for the sake of making it profitable and then flipping it for a profit. Like there's more heart in business. They're like, no, I'm building something that has soul, that people care about, that makes a difference, that has a purpose, and it's not just about making it sellable and making $1 million, right? And I think that's the mentality that can come along with talking about things like exit strategy. But I like this conversation because it means that's not what we're necessarily talking about. We're talking about just building your business in a way that's good for your business, and then you have the option of getting out if you need or want to.
That was going to be my final answer.
Okay.
So no, you don't need an exit strategy, but yes, you do need to work on your business so that it's systemized, it's profitable, it can run with or without you,
Okay.
which is secretly an exit strategy.
Right.
So that's my very
In
clear
disguise.
final answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a quick tip for us?
Work on your business. Stop being a dancing bear, or like the only one working in your business, or doing the thing, doing the service, providing the product, providing the service. Spend an hour a week.
Right.
Listen to a podcast, implement the homework from it, you know, have a budget, create a marketing plan, like work on your business, because otherwise you'll never have any freedom from it. You just have a stressful job where you might not always get paid.
Right. That doesn't sound like a good job.
And there's a lot of people out there like that. It's sad.
Okay, my quick tip is that you really, if everyone, like we said, should be building their business in a way that it is exitable. That means you need to work on brand. Exitable is a word, all right?
Let's pull that up.
Okay, we need to work on brand though, because if you don't have brand, you just have services and products and your advertising, and you really need brand. That's what has a lot of value when you go to sell something, because otherwise, why can't someone recreate what you've done? Your processes aren't unduplicatable. I'm making it words
Oh
today.
my gosh. Stop, because exitable is not a word, but excitable is.
People can replicate your processes. They can find talented people.
Those
They
are all
can
words.
replicate your products, your services, all of that. But brand is something that is yours. And so when built well, that becomes an asset to your business that can't be duplicated. And that's usually when people do franchise, it's because of brand. Like, it's not like you can't start your own burger restaurant. There's nothing magic about making burgers. You buy franchise because of the brand. And so you can do that if you're looking to sell your business, as you
Or
can get brand.
because you don't have faith in yourself to build your own brand.
Sure.
But yeah, if anyone else there is thinking about buying a franchise, please talk to me first.
Or a business broker who can
We
set
can
you
save
up
you
with a
some money.
business.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching episode 20. We've now done half of our episodes on video.
Oh, really?
No, wait, we did 10. We've done 10 and 20, so we've done 11 on video, and we did 9 on audio.
So we're experts now?
Yeah, we're experts on the live
Vodcast
YouTube thing,
experts.
even though our mic was making weird noises when we started today. I'll cut that out.
Okay.
No one will ever know.
Laura will do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So thanks for watching and listening. You can find us. The YouTube channel is best found by going to bit.ly by going to bit.ly/Better Business Podcast. That's how you'll find our YouTube channel. So you can subscribe and watch us here Tuesdays at 7:15 Mountain Time. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. I think we're just about on every platform. Business Can Be Better is how you find us, and subscribe there, please. If you want to reach out to us, you can find me on Instagram at @TheRealLaneAnderson, on Twitter at @Lane_Anderson, and find me on LinkedIn too. Just search my name, Lane Anderson. Yeah, I have a dusty monitor.
Kelly Ray Tamaki at TMH Business Coaching and Consulting on Facebook and LinkedIn, and Kelly Ray Tamaki TMH on Instagram. And don't go look at my TikTok because I'm still experimenting, not having the best time.
I just followed Gary Vee on TikTok this morning. This morning.
That would be entertaining.
Yeah.
Is he doing a lot of cartoony
everywhere.
ones?
No, just some of his most popular rants, like why he swears so much and things like that.
Do you really think it's him everywhere, or do you think he has people who are good at being him?
The comments and yeah, it's him for sure. Like scheduling out content and creating content. Yeah, that's not him. But if you see him post anything on Twitter, that's him.
Has anyone ever directly asked him that?
Yeah, he says it all the time. You'll see him in all his videos, like actually opening Twitter and he's typing. He's doing it.
You don't think you would ever lie?
No, an honest
Gary
Jersey
V?
boy
He's an
like
angel.
Gary Vaynerchuk. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye. Thanks,
See you
guys.
next week.